How even? Are we looking at a 50-50 matchup, or is there some more nuance here?
I mean, I think there's always going to be nuance when you take a look at, two teams that are composed of individuals that work really, really hard to get here. But in terms of the outcome, I'm still fully expecting Team Flash, and I think that's echoed by a lot of the people watching as well, because Rising Sun, Team Flash have looked so dominant, and these players are quite storied as well. But, of course, we'll have to see how it plays out between the two as we get started on Hard Rock Mine. We'll see also who gets the first pick and what those bans are going to be. I'm certainly looking at some Rico gameplay, perhaps, but we also know that, it's about the dojo. Certain regions prefer certain things, so we'll see what these first selections are. Looks like we have the Ash ban from Rising Sun SEA. Pretty much stuff that you would expect also from them. Team Flash, interestingly, getting rid of the Poco as well.
Good ideas here to get rid of kind of standard operating procedure from Team Flash. I think Ruffs, Poco a little bit different. Poco, you don't have to play Poco double tank anymore, but Poco definitely tips your hand in a certain direction and where you want to play for sure. Whereas Stu and Ruffs, kind of general purpose brawlers. And so with that said, our first selection here is going to be Bo. Like the choice, Max across the way though, picking up some utility quick.
Yeah, Bo is pretty much always going to be a fairly good brawler. He can be quite versatile as well. I anticipate that Rising Sun SEA might lean to a different selection for whatever brawler they decide to place at mid. Troy is going to have to be careful, though, because Bo is pretty prone to getting rushed down by a brawler such as Max, so Rising Sun SEA may just have to about face and go for a different strategy, try and pivot into a different direction. It is going to be tough to face versus the Max, so they have some ways of dealing with the Max speed if they decide, yeah, we're going to play Crow or something here. Here's a Yotus, which I actually really do like. I think Rising Sun SEA are primarily gearing up at this point to deal with the tank because Team Flash does have that last pick. It's sort of the same mentality mirrored in why they chose to ban Ash.
Nice. Yeah, there's that Crow that you mentioned as well. And, I like this approach to breaking down the draft phase real quick. Troy, they first select the Bow. And they go, all right, listen, Hard Rock Mine, maybe we want to play some traditional sharpshooters. And then you get kind of soft countered over there. Like you said, characters that could really rush down the long range guys. And then you have two more selections to go ahead and pivot. If blue team doesn't decide to counter, then cool, stick to it and pick whatever you want. Bo, yeah, he can get rushed down by these two characters, but at the end of the day, he's just part of the greater whole, which in general can't. And so I like the choice here from Rising Sun to lead with the sharpshooter and then pivot into something different later on. Penny going to be rounding out the draft here for Response, Jay, and Prime. What's your take on Team Flash's comp?
Definitely do like it. I mean, you've got certainly an assortment of pretty good brawlers. I'm curious as to where the Max is going to fit in. I anticipate it will be probably played as a mid, just is going to face some pretty stiff opposition going into Crow. Another thing that concerns me a little bit is how much value do they plan to get out of that drop the base gadget from Response, because I expect that's what he is running. And it can be shot down very quickly by Otis, who coincidentally is already on that left lane, ready to shut things down. X9J, though, going extremely aggressive up mid, looking to dodge out some of the shots from CZK, and getting extremely aggressive once again, shutting him down, almost getting the kill on the right side already.
Yeah, I like the choice here for Jay to go mid and just follow Bo. So CZK is now, I thought they were going to think about trading positions, sending the Bo over to the right-hand side, but not going to be the case, as Response have shoved Troy over there into the left side. Gets the kill. They focus on mid, and that'll open everything up. In fact, it's a team wipe. Lucky number 7 picked up by the Max player, and this one is relatively, let's say, dominant. Ready?
Dominant, is it chalked? I don't think it's over just yet, but Rising Sun SEA are definitely in a tough spot as they can get spawn trapped all the way at the back. Response now popping
another one.
Gadget. Troye falls in the mix. Response really going down to the back lines to get that kill on the Bear. Did he really need to? Not at all, but you gotta flex that World Finals pin at some point. X9J, he's got gadgets upon gadgets to spare, and they're ending off this one, as you said, dominantly with game number 1.
Aggression, we mentioned how the Max is going to be able to walk onto the Bow, and that's exactly what happened. And Rising Sun didn't really react to that, and because of that, it just opened up mid for Team Flash all together, and Rising Sun never really got a chance to jump back in.
Well, we might get to see something different develop now that the lanes have switched up a little bit. Troy on the right side now face versus Prime rather than Response, but
was that the problem?
The last game, Response had a pretty easy time going into Troy. Prime going to do much the same. CZK also falls. Bear does get the double slow, but he's still trying to work on this turret. Rising Sun, SEA, they do have a gadget that can shut it down quite easily, but it doesn't seem like they really want to use it. Here comes the speed from X9J, pushing and dodging out pretty much all of these shots from CZK, and even opting to move on to Troy. Won't miss that, or rather won't get that silence. Unfortunate. Response still fending off Bear on the left side, throwing down that gadget. Very impressive move from X9J, luckily doesn't get punished. Team Flash remain in the lead.
Crow needed to get that kill right there. As I said, Team Flash's success has largely been off of mid-control. Game number 1, it was off of Jay's just raw aggression. Game number 2, I think, is really down to the sandwich lanes, the left and right sides of the map, just winning their matchup. Like, they're just brawling better, you know, at the end of the day. So 2 different approaches from Team Flash, but really I think Rising Sun just did not respond well to this situation, playing a wild strategy. By the way, shout out Response for the 8 kills there. If you lose playing an off-meta strategy or something new, oh boy, you're gonna hear it in the comments later on. But if you lose doing the meta strat, we just lost, dude. So, and I am laughing and making a joke, but I am telling you, pro players across multiple games have literally told me that before, that playing on the big stage can take out some of your more interesting strategies. So, might be the case to think about. Anyway, new game, new slate, new score. 1-0 for Team Flash above all as we jump into our second set. And it's Gold Arm Gulch Knockout. We'll see Janet picked first of all. Love this character in Knockout. She can deal damage without being damaged herself in a game where her negative side, the fact that you usually land behind enemy lines, is kind of negated if you get your kill, because there are no respawns. So, Janet, very, very strong in Knockout, in my opinion.
Not only that, but also a pretty safe pick. You can play her very safely, as you put it. You can pop down the gadget and stay safe there, and also take to the skies if you want an escape plan, but more importantly, a very versatile pick that you're not going to lock yourself into some strategy that's going to get countered super hard by pick number 2 and 3. So I like this from Rising Sun to SEA. Now it's time for them to develop things a little bit and also make sure that they're not vulnerable versus that final pick from Team Flash. There are a lot of things that you can go for to counter out enemies. So Rising Sun, SEA, they've afforded themselves a bit of time. Here's the max. They plan, it seems, to play this into Bow. We already saw how that could work in the last one. However, it's not the typical Gold Arm Gulch selection in the Brock. Yeah. This is a creativity, I think.
Which, you know, again, so I like this. I think if you are, we look at Team Flash, obviously everybody predicted Team Flash, they are the top card. They're not an auto win though. And so at the end of the day, when you're in, especially a smaller region where there's kind of a, we know this team is better than us type situation, do the odd stuff. On the one hand, Team Flash might be less prepared for it because they've played it against it less often. And on the other hand, you are much better at playing your own game than playing somebody else's, even if the meta is somebody else's. So we'll see how the max works out here on Gold Arm Gulch. Overall, I gotta say, I like Team Flash's composition better overall. Prime and Jay on the long-range shooters, and then Response with some utility there with the mute. So I like what Team Flash has to bring. But Rising Sun finishing things off with the Brock there.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, a scenario where you have good selections on your team. The Max, maybe not the greatest, mostly because Max, her success, I think, is really defined by which brawlers she has at either flank. And in this situation, I don't really see Brock being one of the best selections they could have gone for, but Brock is, in a lot of cases, a must-have on this map. You have to break open some walls, particularly. Looks like they're breaking open the bushes on the right side. Looking to use rocket fuel as that final nail in the coffin to shut someone down. Bear is getting some fairly good dodges at mid, but he's severely outranged. He needs to work on that very first super and then get some aggression off of there. CZK falls. Now Rising Sun SEA is in a 2v3.
Rising Sun kind of has the good positioning here, but it's a 2-on-3 as they corner Team Flash into that southwest quadrant. Forced to retreat now. As the gas starts to come in about a couple of seconds. And Bear Still half HP. Can't get that full health bar all the way up. Great shots being found here by Team Flash. They isolate the individual and then leave Troy to find himself in the wings. So first round goes to Team Flash.
Need to see Bear get some good speed onto his teammates. We saw him pop one speed already, but unfortunately wasn't close enough to Troya to give him that speed, so it was just a solo. But here he comes once again. Can't pop it onto Troya. This would probably be the ideal target to place it onto, but since he is closer to CZK, that might be what he has to do. Potential kill shot in here. Response is very low, but Team Flash move collectively as a unit across the diagonal, moving towards the top right, also trying to maintain their positions. Rising Sun now all grouped up, ready to pop a speed, but they need to look for an opening before they go for this.
Troy went against Jay by himself and activated the super. I just don't think that's what you want to do. I think you want to use the super to kind of kill confirm and then follow up after the fact. Like I said, you're just not going to get punished. Rising Sun kind of stuck here on the right-hand side. CZK half HP, and Prime now paying attention, but it's Bear that finds the first kill. Nice snap check.
And mines to the top right as well. Sort of an emergency gadget popped by Troy. He's got one left in the chamber. Prime shuts him down with the gadget. A shield over to X9J to confirm the kill on the Bear on the bottom left.
Of knockout that you got the first kill in. So, I know how that feels, brother. Team Flash now with one on the board. And Troy now on the left side might bode better. But again, Troy just locked by himself, can't help the teammate, and Bear, first one to kill last time, is the first killed this time.
Ooh, CZK on the right side could face some serious opposition. Here comes Prime in response, pinch him down. And Troy throws up the pin. He knows he's done for here, but he could at least leave here with the super. Gotta be cautious of that gadget, though Prime, I think, might not even think it's worth to pop a gadget to take him down, since he and his teammates can farm supers off of him. X9J is going to be the one he even collects that for some healing. Get his super. Now he's got mines ready to throw down at mid and prevent a lot of that movement for Rising Sun as they close in for the second round.
Yeah, good little, you know, fundamentals there. Making sure that Prime backs off, let Jay get the kill, farm up some super. So the mines go out, and, well, great super, dude. Still scoreless here after a couple of seconds, but as soon as I say that, Troy eats it. And CZK close to death as well, but it's Bear that's got to run. CZK falls. The third does as well. I just predicted the future.
Here are a bit partial to the max and making some stuff work there. More importantly, I think that you don't necessarily need a max to get extra speed here, because look at all those bushes everywhere. Those have speed gear written all over them if you're that kind of player. And if you want to play some tanks here, this is the opportunity to make it happen. But I think really the biggest thing is going to be, we got to see Rising Sun get that last pick. They've had first pick 2 times in a row, and they have not really been able to do a whole lot with it, unfortunately. They do get it this time, lucky for them. They win that coin flip in a way. It's going to get a lot easier for them. But Team Flash, note which brawlers they've banned out too. They've gotten rid of Crow and also Sandy, which has grown a lot in popularity recently. But Rising Sun, SEA, they got to figure out how exactly.
Why do we see more Sandy?
What is this?
Why do we see more Sandy recently?
I couldn't necessarily tell you. He did get a slight buff, and I think also some people are just now remembering that, you know, he was fairly decent before. Before when we weren't playing too much.
Yeah, I agree. Sandy used to be right below a mainstay, I'll say, particularly in Brawl Ball, and he kind of just went away. And I always like these. I know a very small buff on the side of Sandy just kind of reminded folks, oh yeah, guy's really good. But we're halfway through the draft, Sandy banned. So we've got the Otis on the one side, and then some B and Janet for Rising Sun. B going to provide some long-range damage, as well as Honey Molasses. That's what I'm thinking of mainly for sure. Bear on the stunt woman one more time. I honestly might have gone a little bit more control-oriented, but I guess Rising Sun wants to see what Team Flash is going to choose before they pick full control.
Well, That's bold. Go for the Rosa, go for the Buster. I mean, there are plenty of good options to go with when you're in bushes. Rosa, I mean, this is where she calls her home, right? Inside of the bushes. She even gets additional healing for being inside of the bushes if you decide to run that star power, which most people choose to do. Buster, also just a good brawler overall, but what makes me a little bit concerned is that, you know, Team Flash, they're choosing to play this into the B, and Rising Sun could go for a wall breaker. There it is. I mean, it had this, the wall breaker was kind of written all over this comp. As soon as you see B and there's another selection available, you have to anticipate a wall breaker of some sort. But Team Flash, it seems like really their strategy is going to be, let's run it down. Let's completely disregard any wall break, because also keep in mind, Rising Sun, they could have gone for something that has that wall break on cooldown like Colonel Ruffs, but instead they went for Griff, who only has 3 wall breaks per game. It's a little concerning to me, but it's still possible for Rising Sun. It just looks too confident on the side of Team Flash.
I agree as well. I think Sneaky Fields and Rosa go together like peanut butter and jelly. I just think this is the right selection for this map. And then they kind of double down by going Buster. He falls down here. And good aggression here from Rising Sun as they get the first blood. And honestly, they've pushed their enemy out as well. A lot of good damage, but not a lot of forward momentum there. As Bear lands another kill, but ultimately won't get much out of it as Jay's able to find one on the other side.
Jay's putting the work seriously. Keeping Bear and CZK at range. Prime might find an opportunity on the left side, and CZK just stays alive by the skin of his teeth. Response now receiving the pass. Troy needs to get that slow. He almost got his ankles broken a little bit with Response trying to pass it around the left side. Thankfully, he was able to pick up that ball and toss it in the back left. A little SK strategy here, corner the ball, see how long they can stall things out. But with how aggressive Team Flash are capable of playing, it might not be long-lived. Here it is, a kill on the right side, a full team wipe, and a goal for Team Flash.
Oh my goodness! I was laughing because Response really wanted to hit that first shot, and you saw him just get mad, dropping pins and spinning, just mad at himself. Well, this is how I expected this comp to go. Just as we say in the biz, hold W. You know, you're just walking forward, beat, dude. Prime.
Yeah. All smiles and laughs from this dude, and hey, they're kind of crushing Rising Sun SEA here. I still have some faith in Rising Sun SEA, but they haven't won a single game so far. It could be the steamroll incoming. They're the only ones who can stop it. Bear, he throws down the gadget on the right side to try and stifle Response's push. Here he comes around the right. Still no kill as he keeps on charging up that super. 2 drop the base, gadgets pop down, and Bear gets 2 elims on the left. This could be Rising Sun SEA bringing back some control of mid, but we've already seen 2 gadgets expended by Bear. It's not a very good outlook.
That's what I was going to mention as well. Just Team Flash gets wiped, and partially because they were a little bit of hubris. I think they went a little hard there, but at the same time, that's kind of just the other side of the coin. This composition only works if you kind of go all in, and sometimes you get wiped for going all in. Other times, you get the 2-on-1 Response with the kill. And the goal after the fact. Jay with the martyrdom shot. It's 1-0 with 90 on the clock.
That was miscommunication entirely for Rising Sun SEA. Bear, he very much could have shifted in front and not dependent on a teammate to end up defending that ball, but they just didn't spawn in time. They can still bring things back, though. A minute 15 on the clock. CZK tries to come around the left side and get some good shots versus Prime. He's able to break open some walls, too. Why are you hitting yourself as he shoots 3 volleys of shots right into Prime's shield, reflected upon? Rising Sun SEA have to fall back to the backlines now.
Oh my goodness, Prime, thank you. I was like, you can't dodge all that, homie. Rising Sun now on the aggressive side. Ball still in mid, but largely a technicality. Rising Sun could push it forward, but why? They don't really have a moment here. Honey Molasses dropped, interestingly. As Bear shoots forward. That's a better one, but it's immediately taken care of. That said, Troy finds a kill. Response close to death, but it's him dealing the death. Bear shows up as well. Can't find the hidden Rosa. And just like that, Team Flash with a great defensive set.
And Team Flash, they're precisely where they need to be. A takedown onto Troy. They're all the way at the enemy side. Touchdown and just 10 seconds left. for Team Flash to bask in the limelight, as they've done it. They've beaten Rising Sun SEA. They are your monthly finals champions.